You're It's your boy Wabi from the Politically Correct Show, and uh, today is gonna be a nice, easy, quick day. So I'm just gonna be talking about that Ye album that was supposed to drop but ain't never dropped. So now I gotta talk about it how it didn't drop, and me being a fan uh, of Ye for about 10 years now, like an actual fan. Like, obviously throughout my whole life, I was hearing Gold Digger and Can't Tell Me Nothing and like Jesus Walks and stuff like that. But that's like only on the radio and stuff. Like, I actually started to become an actual fan of his art, um, and him as a person, like about 10 years ago when I was in high school. Well, eighth grade, starting high school. That's when I started to become a big fan. And then he started to become my favorite artist of all time. And, just like everyone's favorite artist, I sat there and I waited. He's a little different from everybody else. He's kind of like Lauryn Hill. You never know what you're going to get out of him. Kind of like Frank Ocean. So, this time around, I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I knew the more I thought about it, the more it was going to get pushed back anyway. So, I just wasn't thinking about it, trying not to think about it until I heard some uh, accurate news about it, from some real sources. And, now the real sources say it's going to get dropped May 20th. So, you know, can't say I'm upset because I kind of knew it was going to happen. You kind of get the pattern after the first few times they do this. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not sure if this is gonna be a Ye album. I feel like this is gonna be a Kanye West album. In other words, I don't think it's gonna drop. If Kanye West had his name originally, then maybe it would drop. But this is Ye, and I don't think it's dropping. So hopefully it does because I'm just a big fan. I just want to hear the music. I just wanna I just want to annoy people with the music, blast it out, and people like, oh, who's that? And I'll be like, yeah, and they'll be like, yeah. So I'm happy for those moments, and I want those moments to keep happening. That's why I'm making this video right now is because I just can't go without talking about the Bully album when it doesn't drop. That's I'm a big gay fan, so it just I couldn't keep silence about that. I'm making this video. I'm making this channel for the sake of voices, and the first voice that comes on here obviously will be mine. So I can't just stay silent when my favorite artist of all time has just decided not to make an album, and partially because of you guys. Everybody famous has to have an agenda on why they dropping and why they apologizing and stuff. So I guess he thought that the release date and his apology to the Jewish community was just too short amount of time to where y'all gonna automatically say, oh, well, he just did it because he was dropping an album, which might be true, but at the end of the day, if you were still a Ye fan after all of that, you shouldn't really care about all of that. That's just how famous people are. Don't think that Ye's the only famous person that does that, because all famous people do something wrong to the public at some point. You know, I don't really look at famous people the same way. I always look at them as just human beings that live just like us. The only difference is we watch their every, well, not me, because I don't watch their every move, because I feel like I'm a celebrity myself. So everybody watches they every move. So it's like, of course someone's gonna find something wrong. You know, when I make these videos, people are gonna be like, "What's wrong with him? Why does he think like that?" Because we ain't really pushed the big subjects yet. I'm just trying to get my feet wet, trying to put some sports on, trying to give y'all the music updates. just the little bit of stuff. But when I start getting these collaborations going, and doing things that I actually want to do a little more than the sports, then y'all gonna see like, oh well, he's not just some regular guy. So that's that. I mean, when it comes to famous people, they're different minded people. When it comes to rich people, they're different minded people, and it's either you're gonna respect his difference or you're gonna not respect the difference. So with most, I usually respect the difference, but I mean, if I don't like your product, I don't like your product, and I'm not gonna buy your product. But if I do like your product, then I might buy your product. That's just how it goes with me. So yeah, Yay album ain't dropped yet. In my eyes, it might never drop. It might turn into something else, like not a bully album, but a holy album or something. It might be might be something different. You never know with Yay. That's either bad or good. Never know what spectrum it's gonna be on for your taste when it comes to him. And I mean, I guess for me, that's kind of the reason why I enjoy his music so much, because I never know what I'm gonna get from him. I never know if I'm gonna like it personally or if I'm gonna hate it personally, because even especially more recently, he's just been making music for almost everybody. He doesn't just make music for backpack backpackers. He don't just make music for the conscious rapper. He don't just make music for street people. He makes music for everybody. Everybody on the street, everybody on the boulevard, everybody on the block. So, uh, yeah, I just was excited for it. Now it's not gonna happen. Now it might happen like 50 days, and I can't say I'm not disappointed. You see, and this is what all your Yeezy fans need to understand. I'm a perfect Yeezy fan because I have enough intellect to understand his artistry and love his artistry, but then I also have enough smarts to know that Ye might not drop when he says he's gonna drop. So when he said he was gonna drop, I was like, yeah, sure. I see it when I believe it. Because I've been through that roller coaster before with him when I was a little young shorty. Like when I first started to get into him, he was on the Life of Pablo uh thing, and the Life of Pablo switched to a billion different names. It switched dates, and then when it finally got released, he still did a whole bunch of different stuff to it, and then it got re-released, and that was actually pretty cool because you got to see the artistry and all of it. But now he just like straight doesn't even drop nothing, and then it takes forever. Then it gets like 5 release days, and then by then it's like 2 years past, and you know now only I care about the album. People who are big fans. So I'm sitting here buying his Yeezy pod. I bought the Yeezy jacket. And I received the stuff, but like, dang, like, man, I bought your merch. Can you just at least drop the album? Like, jeez, like, I just want the album. I want the music. That's what we want from you, not all the antics. So I guess that's about it. Stay free, stay calm, and stay relaxed. Wabi.